Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate 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 Vasudevaya.
Yasyasti Bhaktir Bhagavatya Kinchana.
Yasyasti Bhaktir
Yasyasti Bhaktir
Bhagavati
Bhagavata Kinchana.
Sarvair Gunestatra Samasate Sura.
Sarve Gunesh Tatra Samasate
Samasate
Sura.
Sura.
Haram Bhaktasya Kuto Mahadguna.
Harav
Haram
Abhaktasya
Bhaktasya
Kuto
Kuto
Mahadguna.
Mahadguna.
Manorathena Sati Dhavato Bahi.
Manoratena
Manorathena
Sati
Sati
Tavato Bahi.
Bhavato Mahi.
Okay, this is a very important verse. Like Prabhupada quotes it in many places. So, who would like to read it?
Agreed,
May I
Prabhu?
read, Prabhu? Oh, go ahead,
Go
Prabhuji.
on with it.
Okay, Prabhuji, you read.
Okay. Translation in purport by His Divine Grace, Swami Prabhupada. Translation. All the demigods and their exalted qualities such as religion, knowledge, and renunciation become manifest in the body of one who has developed unalloyed devotion for the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Vasudeva. On the other hand, a person devoid of devotional service and engaged in material activity has no good qualities. Even if he is adept at the practice of mystic yoga or honest endeavor of maintaining his family and relatives, he must be driven by his own mental speculations and must engage in the service of the Lord's external energy. How can there be any good qualities in such a man? Purport. As explained in the next verse, Krishna is the original source of all living entities. This is confirmed in the Bhagavad Gita 15.7, where Krishna says, Amayavamsa Jiva Loke Jiva Bhuta Sanatana Anasastani Indriyani Prakriti Sthani Karshati. The living entities in this conditioned world are my eternal fragmental parts. Due to conditioned life, they are struggling very hard with the six senses, which include the mind. All living entities are part and parcel of Krishna, and therefore, when they revive the original Krishna consciousness, they possess all the good qualities of Krishna in a small quantity. When one engages himself in the 9 processes of devotional service, Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam, Pada Sevanam, Archanam, Vandanam, Dasyam, Sakyam, Atmanivedanam, one's heart becomes purified, and he immediately understands his relationship with Krishna. He then revives his original quality of Krishna consciousness. In the Adi Leela of Chaitanya Charitamrita, chapter 8, there is a description of some of the qualities of devotees. For example, Sri Pandita Haridasa is described as being very well behaved, tolerant, peaceful, magnanimous, and grave. In addition, he spoke very sweetly. His endeavors were very pleasing. He was always patient. He respected everyone. He always worked for everyone's benefit. His mind was free of duplicity, and he was completely devoid of all malicious activities. These are all originally qualities of Krishna. And one becomes a devotee, they automatically become manifest. Sri Krishnadasa Kaviraja, the author of Chaitanya Charitamrita, says that all good qualities become manifest in the body of a Vaishnava, and that only by the presence of these good qualities can one distinguish a Vaishnava from a non-Vaishnava. Krishnadasa Kaviraj lists the following 26 good qualities of a Vaishnava. He is very kind to everyone. He does not make anyone his enemy. He is truthful. He is equal to everyone. No one can find any fault in him. He is magnanimous. He is mild. He is always clean. He is without possessions. He works for everyone's benefit. He is very peaceful. He is always surrendered to Krishna. He has no material desires. He is very meek. He is steady. He controls his senses. He does not eat more than required. He is not influenced by the Lord's illusory energy. He offers respect to everyone. He does not desire any respect for himself. He is very grave. He is merciful. He is friendly. He is poetic. He is expert. He is silent. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, thank you very much, Prabhu. So, Yasyasti Bhaktir Bhagavatya Kinchana. So, one who has, one who renders devotional service without any motivation. We have read this, अप्रत्ययता है तो कि ये आत्मा सुप्रसिद्धि. Srimad Bhagavatam, we hear this verse. You know, you know, Savai Pumsham Paro Dharmo Yato Bhaktir Adhokshaje. Everyone's duty, it is actually everyone's duty. It's the highest duty of everyone to have eggs. I mean, to have this, this kind of, it's everyone's highest duty to render devotional service to the Supreme Personality of Godhead without any motivation. See, we have actually, all duties that one renders in this material world are actually directed towards the Supreme Lord. If you see carefully, what are the duties that one renders? In this material world, there is nobody who is not doing duty towards somebody else. The biggest man on earth, the President of United States, the President, Prime Minister of India, everyone, they will render some duty towards someone. Either it could be their population, their family, or someone. Because that's the nature of living entity, to render devotional service. So it is the nature of living entity to serve. But who do we serve actually? So one may serve one's wife or children or parents or brothers or sisters or one's nation. Someone may say that, actually I have dedicated my life to the service of the nation. So it is essentially to some living beings. Someone dedicates his life to serving the nature. I am protecting rivers, I am protecting forests. All this is towards some living entity. But what is this living entity? What is the living principle? This is Krishna. Mamaeva ansha jiva loke jiva bhuta sanatana. One is rendering service anyway. So, due to ignorance, they do not understand what is the highest principle. So they are serving some minute principle which is just like a subset of the original principle, which is this absolute truth. So therefore, Srimad Bhagavatam makes it very clear. Savai pumsham paro dharmo yato bhaktir adhokshaje. To the infallible Lord, one has to serve. One who's beyond all material nature. One has to serve that Lord. Apratihata ahetuki yayatma suprasidati. So apratihata, without any breakage, without any halt. Pratihata, any kind of, without any obstructions. Ahetuki, without any motivation. You see, as soon as there is some motivation, immediately there is a transaction. See, now this is actually for the benefit of the living entity himself. Krishna does not derive any benefit from the living entity. Like, a father doesn't derive any benefit from the children, really speaking. He's just serving them out of love. So just like that, Krishna is just providing all the living entities. But if the child serves the father, then it is in his interest. Like if a father has two sons, one son is like a useless, vagrant. The other person is very studious, very nice, and very subservient, and very service oriented. Then the father would be more favorable towards the son who's serving him, even though he would love both of them. So just like that, the living entity who serves the Supreme Person, the Supreme Person becomes more favorable to him. Ye yatha mam prapadyante tams tathaiva bhajamyaham. Because by serving the Lord without any motivation, we are actually connecting with the Supreme Principle. See, it's like this. If we serve the Lord with some motive, the Lord reciprocates. Of course, that is beneficial, as we read in Bhagavad Gita and in Bhagavatam only. Akamo sarvakamava mokshkam udarati tivrena bhakti yogena jayeta purusha param. So even if you have all the motives to serve the Supreme Lord, you will derive some benefit. Because Krishna's mercy will always come with purification. So even if you have all the motivations in life, you can serve the Supreme Lord. Like once Srila Prabhupada was in America, and somebody came to him and he was like a drunkard, complete drunkard, alcohol addict. So Prabhupada said, okay, at least offer alcohol to Krishna. If nothing, it is at least vegetarian. So in this way, Prabhupada encouraged everyone to be a part of bhakti. So certainly we know that alcohol is non-offerable to Krishna, but simply by the act of offering the drunkard will derive some benefit. Krishna will not accept alcohol. Alcohol will not become prasadam, but the drunkard's attitude towards Krishna will change. And that's some purification that will come. So in this way, when we do any service to Krishna, even if it is with material motive, it will purify us. It is a cause of our purification. However, when we do something with a material motive, Krishna fulfills that desire and then we again become disconnected from Krishna. Srila Prabhupada explains in the fourth chapter, the sixth chapter, he has explained that seventh chapter, that those who approach him with some material desire, Chaturveda bhajante mam jana sukritino Arjuna. So in that verse, Srila Prabhupada explains in the purport that it is not very favorable, it's not very nice to approach Krishna with some material desire. Because as soon as the desire is fulfilled, one may lose one's motivation to serve the Lord, and one may again turn back. So not nice, but still it is preferable. Still one is sukritino. So even if one serves Lord with material motivation, there is some benefit from it. So if someone serves the Lord without any material motivation, then the direct channel between him and the Lord is open. Because Lord has to reciprocate. That's the Lord's nature. So if you don't ask anything from the Lord has no option but to give himself to you. And in this way you become transcendental. So that is the secret of devotion. That's why we say unalloyed devotion. Alloyed devotion means we have some desire. Lord, give me some wealth. Lord, fulfill my, give me some liberation. Free me from material miseries. So these are some motivations. So therefore, when this devotion is completely akinchana, when it is completely nishkinchana, then Lord has no option left but to reciprocate with you. If the devotee steadfastly refuses anything from the Lord, then the Lord is obliged to give himself. And in this way, the devotee becomes completely transcendental. He realizes his position as a part and parcel of the Supreme Lord. So, on the other hand, so even if one approaches the Lord with some material desires, it is still full. It is still, it is still to be considered favorable. It is still to be considered exalted. Now, here in this purport, Srila Prabhupada goes a little further than Bhagavad Gita. Now he is explaining that one can approach the Supreme Lord by following the 9-step process. In this way, one can approach the Lord without any motivation. This 9-step process of bhakti. By practicing bhakti without motivation, one gradually reaches the platform of transcendence, and then all the good qualities manifest. So one may ask, how do the good qualities then manifest? So the answer is that these qualities actually exist within the soul. So if you go outside and you see some earthworms crawling in the mud, or you see some cockroaches in your bathroom, even they have transcendental qualities. The only problem is they are covered over by Maya. As Krishna describes, the different covering, gradations of different coverings. Just as the dust covers a mirror, fire covers the smoke, or womb covers an embryo. Living entity is covered by varying degrees of lust. So a cockroach crawling in the gutter or an earthworm crawling in the mud, they are covered completely by lust. So they have practically no consciousness. We as human beings have some consciousness. So we have some consciousness, but we need to purify it. So these transcendental qualities are a part of the soul, because you see, Mamayava Ansha Jivaloke, the living entity is as good as Krishna. In fact, Srila Prabhupada explains that if you want to understand Krishna, analyze your own nature, analyze yourself. All those qualities are coming from Krishna. The consciousness is manifesting from Krishna. So in this way, the Lord purifies the living entity. So as one renders devotional service with a sincere heart, as one practices austerities more and more, all these qualities actually start manifesting. For example, Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami, the author of Chaitanya Charitamrita, says that all good qualities become manifest in the body of a Vaishnava, and that only by the presence of these good qualities can one distinguish a Vaishnava from a non-Vaishnava. So these qualities manifest because these qualities are inherent. Like the scratch card. You scratch out the colors and then you can see that qualities are starting to manifest. So just like that, as one goes on scratching away these layers of Maya, these good qualities start manifesting because we are as good as Krishna, qualitatively. So these qualities are coming from Krishna. So he's very kind to everyone. We can see that Krishna is kind to everyone. Even the demons, the atheists, the lowest of the low, Krishna is kind enough to fulfill their desires. Actually, it's only Krishna who's sustaining the whole universe. He does not make anyone his enemy. So in this world, actually, there is no enemy of Krishna. One may think he is the enemy, but actually Krishna doesn't consider anyone his enemy. He is truthful. I mean, Krishna is absolute truth. So naturally, anyone who becomes pure in devotional service will become truthful. He's equal to everyone. Uh, no one can find any fault in him. I mean, Krishna is perfect. Krishna's Krishna's so-called mistakes are also perfect. Krishna doesn't make any mistake. Krishna is absolutely faultless. He is magnanimous. Krishna is serving the whole universe. So in this way, we see that these 26 qualities, they are manifest. Now, some of these qualities are very important. He surrendered to Krishna. He has no material desires. He's very meek. He is steady. So you see, Dridha Vrata. So one has to be Dridha Vrata. Steady, in the sense that because devotee has no material desires. So therefore he is steady. One who has material desires can never be steady because material nature is always unsteady. Maya is Chanchala. Lakshmi is considered Chanchala. She doesn't stay in one place. If there is no Vishnu, that means then it is Durga. So that means there is no steadiness. Therefore, we see people struggling again and again. This kind of money, then this and that. People just changing one thing after another. Bodies are being changed all the time. So when one comes in communion with Krishna, then he becomes very steady. He does not desire, he offers respect to everyone. He does not desire any respect for himself. So, amanina amanadena kirtaniya sadahari. So one understands what we are seeing through our eyes is just a material manifestation, just an act of the three modes of nature. So where is the question of desiring any respect from anyone? This body is not me, so what respect does this body get? He is very grave, he is merciful, he is friendly, he is poetic, he is expert, and he is silent. Silent, Prabhupada says, silence means that he only discusses subject matter related to Krishna and nothing else. No society, no family, no nation, no economics, no politics, nothing. His only consideration is Krishna. So only talking about subject matters related to Krishna, that is also silence. So you see, in this way, these qualities are inherent. They are existing within everyone. But one has to uncover them. As one goes on lifting these shrouds of Maya, one will uncover these qualities. Hare Krishna. Is any question or comment?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare
Prabhuji,
Krishna.
one question, or just wanna see if I'm getting correct understanding. Jab we say everyone is part and parcel of Krishna, so everyone serving the subset of the original whole, then it is said that serving family who is a subset of the whole, getting attached to that subset is not good.
Correct.
Right? Even though we are serving the subset of the whole, why it is not good? Because we get attached to that parts and parcel, and we find our own sense gratification in that attachment, and the aham himeti concept becomes even more stronger.
Correct.
Okay? Okay, ji.
See, look at it this way, try to understand it scientifically. We are attracted to that principle. We are attracted to the principle of life which we see in the so-called family members. Okay. Now, but what we are seeing is actually a covering of Maya. There is no distinction between a brother or a sister or husband or wife or mother or father. They are living entities covered over by different layers of these modes. Mahat-tattva and Mahat-tattva. So we are saying, oh, this is my mother, this is my father. We don't know really. In some life, father would be mother and mother could be father. Or we could be the mother and father and they could be the child. You're getting the point. We are just attracted to that principle, but we are only able to see Maya and we fall into illusion.
Yes.
So that so-called attraction or so-called affection is just a bodily affection. It has no substance. So therefore, it is advisable that we get away from it. I mean, you're a physics student, so let's just put it this way. Imagine there are two, like 2-point energies, positive and negative charge, and they're getting attracted to each other. Or we say, best example, let's take astronomy. You have one planet and you have two planets attracting mutually, GM1 M2 upon R raised to 2. Now
Ji.
suppose there is a third planet.
Mhm.
So you have to draw vectors, and then find out the resultant. Then
Mhm.
you'll know which is the resultant line of action of force.
Mhm.
Okay. Now, if there's one more planet, then it becomes 4 planets.
Mhm.
And then there will be mutual attraction, and then there will be another resultant vector.
Ji.
So this resultant force would be then still more distorted.
Mm.
So
Yes.
these living entities within this world, because they are parts of Krishna, they are attractive.
Mm.
I mean, you may love your car. You may have a Toyota, Honda, Subaru, whatever. You love it.
Mhm.
But you don't love it so much. It's not a
Mhm.
love. It's just like some attraction. You find it useful.
Mhm.
You don't love that car. You're not going to hang on to it. The car doesn't love you back.
Mhm.
But your child, you love, because the child
Mhm.
is reciprocating.
Mhm.
You can't describe what that love is. That has like no tangible description.
Mm.
It is just love. You just say, yeah, this is it. This is just love.
Mm.
But now suppose you have a second child. Then the love is distributed between 2 children, 3 children, 4
Mhm.
children.
Mm.
Okay.
Yes. Mm.
So you see, so in this way, these lines of force are getting more and more diffused. The resultant is
Mhm.
very small vector.
Yes. Mhm.
All of this affection is actually diverting our love away from the real objective.
Mm. Yeah.
You're getting the point. These
Mm.
tiny point forces, they are, creating their own resultant lines of
Yes.
force, and the
Mhm.
resultant is becoming smaller and smaller.
Mm.
So
Yes.
when we are trying to serve Krishna, we are getting more and more distracted by these so-called affections of the world.
Yes.
And
Mm.
therefore, you see the saintly souls. They are like we saw day before. I mean, yesterday we were reading this verse. My dear Lord, we pray that we may never feel attraction for the prison of family life consisting of home,
Yes.
wife, children, friends, and bank balance.
Mm.
Because each of these, see, there is nothing wrong in it.
Mm.
It's not sinful to love your family members,
Mm.
but it is a distraction. It is
Yes.
weakening your attraction for Krishna.
Mm. Mhm. It takes away the important time. Mm.
Exactly. It takes away your important emotional force, emotional
Yes,
space.
that's true. Mhm.
Just
That's
today, I
true.
was thinking, I was going to my office in the morning, and I was just checking my pockets, my mobile phone, my office key, my bank cards.
Mhm.
And I was just realizing that a sadhu doesn't do any of this.
Mm.
So valuable moments I'm spending in trying to recollect all the things which are totally unnecessary for spiritual life.
Mm. Mhm.
Therefore, a sannyasi doesn't have any encumbrances.
Yes.
Sannyasi has no attachment, so he can only
Mhm.
attach to Krishna.
Mm.
But we get distracted by so many tiny, tiny things.
Mm.
So that's why it is mentioned here, one quality. He is without possessions. Ninth
Mm.
quality.
Yes. Yes. Mm.
He does not make anyone his enemy. How can anyone make an enemy when he has no desires?
Mhm.
Okay, you want my car, you take it.
Mm.
But if I think, oh, this is my car, then I'll become your enemy if you try to take that car.
Mhm.
In this world, India fights Pakistan, Pakistan fights India. Why? Pakistan is saying Kashmir is ours, India is saying no, it is ours. Actually, who it belongs to? Nobody.
Mhm.
Indians have come, so many Indians have come and died.
Mm.
My uncle was a veteran. He fought a war, India-Pakistan war, 1971. Well, India is still there, Pakistan is still there, but my uncle is gone.
Mm.
Indira Gandhi is gone, Jinnah is gone, Bhutto is gone, everyone is gone, but India, Pakistan are still there. Still, people are fighting like animals.
Mm.
So you see, so because a devotee gives up this aham mameti, he has no enemies.
Mm. This particular piece is very hard to digest.
It
That
is.
he does not make anyone his enemy. He does not, people sometimes just become enemies. Not
Yeah,
necessarily you have to make anyone an enemy.
yeah, of
But
course.
because we are attached to the ahamete, we are attached to the ahameti concept. That's why.
See, people will become devotees of, enemies of devotee. Srila Prabhupada,
Mm.
so many people thought he was their enemy. He
Mm.
did not make anyone because
Yes.
they thought, oh, he's more successful out of envy. They became his
Mm.
enemies. Like some
Mm.
devotee became my enemy also because he thought that I was going to take away all his donations.
Mm.
So he thought I was just kind of killing his business. So this will happen. So,
Yes.
but a devotee doesn't go out of the way. Oh, he's my, no, someone may say, oh, he's my enemy. But devotee doesn't think that he's the enemy.
Yes, that's the difference. ठीक है जी. ठीक है जी. Thank you so much, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna ji. Thank you.
Thank you, Hare Krishna. So text 13. हरिर्हि साक्षात् भगवान शरीरिणाम
हरिर्हि
हरिर्हि
साक्षात्
साक्षात्
भगवान
भगवान
शरीरिणाम
शरीरिणाम
आत्मा झषाणाम इव तोयम ईप्सितम
आत्मा
आत्मा
चषाणाम् इव तोयम्
चषाणाम् इव
ईप्सितम्
तोयम् इपिस्तम्
हित्वा महांस्तं यदि सज्जते गृहे
हित्वा महांस्तं यदि
महांस्तं
सज्जते
यदि
गृहे
सज्जते गृहे
तदा महत्त्वं वयसा दंपतिनाम
तदा
तदा
महत्त्वं वयसा
महत्त्वं वयसा
दम्पतीनाम्.
दम्पतीनाम्.
Yes, please.
May
Mataji,
I read, Prabhuji? जी,
yeah,
thank you,
please.
Prabhuji. Hare Krishna ji, Srila Prabhupada ji ki jai. Translation: just as aquatics always desire to remain in the vast mass of water, all conditioned living entities naturally desire to remain in the vast existence of the Supreme Lord. Therefore, if someone very great by material calculation fails to take shelter of the Supreme Soul, but instead becomes attached to the material household life, his greatness is like that of a young, low-class couple. One who is too attached to material life loses all good spiritual qualities. Purport. Although crocodiles are very fierce animals, they are powerless when they venture out of the water onto land. When they are out of the water, they cannot exhibit their original power. Similarly, the all-pervading Super Soul Paramatma is the source of all living entities, and all the living entities are part and parcel of him. When the living entities remain in contact with the all-pervading Vasudev, the personality of Godhead, he manifests his spiritual power exactly as a crocodile exhibits his strength in the water. In other words, the greatness of the living entity can be perceived when he is in the spiritual world, engaged in spiritual activities. Many householders, although well educated in the knowledge of Vedas, become attached to family life. They are compared herein to crocodiles out of water, for they are devoid of all spiritual strength. Their greatness is like that of a young husband and wife, who, though uneducated, praise one another and become attracted to their own temporary beauty. This kind of greatness is appreciated only by low-class men with no qualifications. Everyone should therefore seek the shelter of the Supreme Soul, the source of all living entities. No one should waste his time in the so-called happiness of materialistic household life. In the Vedic civilization, this type of crippled life is allowed only until one's 50th year, when one must give up family life and enter either the order of the Vanprasth, independent retired life for cultivation of spiritual knowledge, or sannyas, the renounced order in which one completely takes the shelter of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Thank you, Ji. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. Thank you very much, Mataji. Harirhi Sakshat Bhagavan Sharirinam. So, the Supreme Lord is the shelter of all living entities. So, you see, if someone very great by material calculations fails to take the shelter of Supreme Soul but instead becomes attached to material household life, his greatness is like that of a young low-class couple. One who is too attached to material life loses all good spiritual qualities. See, spiritual life with material attachments is just an illusion. Now, when I see that, what I mean is, what is the real objective of your life? You have to think like that. What do you really want? Remember, I keep giving this homework again and again, but no one ever comes back to tell me whether they have done it or not. Write down, take a piece of paper and just write down one line, or not even one line, just one word. What is the real objective of your life? Think it over very seriously and just write down this answer for yourself. You don't need to share this with anyone. Maybe you can show it to Srila Prabhupada or you can show it to the deities. No, you don't need to show it to anybody, just to yourself. What is the real objective of your life? What do you want? Do you want to earn money? Do you want to become famous? Do you just want to have sex? Do you just want to, buy a big house? Do you want a big car? Just go to the very core of your heart and seek that objective. It is stored there, it's in your hard drive. It is like, in the IT field, we call it is hard coded. It is hardwired into your system. You are born with it. Find out that motivation. And then you'll know what is the real obstruction in your path. What is holding you back? Simply because you have done that doesn't mean that you will become renounced or Krishna will take away everything. No. Then at least you'll know what is the real hurdle in the path of life. You may think there are so many distractions. Oh, I have my job, I have this, I have that. No, they are not. The real hurdle is just one or two things, and they are deep within the core of your heart. Investigate, find it out. And once you have found out, then your sadhana will actually start. Because, as we have discussed previously also, when you chant, you are praying to Krishna. Krishna, Krishna, Raksha Mam, Krishna, Krishna, Pahi Mam. So when we say Krishna, Krishna, Raksha Mam, Raksha from what? We don't need protection from this material world. The material world is anyway going to kill us eventually. But we need protection from our own lust, our own contamination. We need protection from that. When Mahaprabhu says, Krishna, Krishna, Raksha Mam, Krishna, Krishna, Pahi Mam, Rama, Raghava, Raksha Mam, Krishna, Keshav, Pahi Mam, what he's saying that, Lord, protect my spiritual life. And we need this protection from ourselves. Maya is inert. We read that in the very introduction to Bhagavad Gita, where Srila Prabhupada describes that Maya in itself is inert. She is not consciousness. She's just existing. Maya is like a system. She's like your car. You press the accelerator, the car goes forward. You press the brake, she stops. You turn the steering wheel right, she goes right. You turn left, she goes left. There's nothing. Car is not driving you. You are driving the car. She is providing you the power. If you want to carry 200 kilos, you want to carry your whole family, you want to go at 80 kilometers per hour, the car will provide you everything. She has that capacity, but she has no consciousness. Just even if you open the door and sit inside, she's not going to drive you. She's just waiting for your signal. Maya is exactly like that. Maya is not really existing. Prabhupada writes, it's our consciousness. Maya, that which is not. She's just energies. They're just floating around. We have to decide what we do with them. So we have to give up this attachment ourselves. We have to find out what is the core attachment in our heart and then purify that by chanting prayerfully to the Supreme Lord. Krishna will purify us. Now, what is the very core desire in our heart? Purify that. Otherwise, all this would be like, rowing a boat when the corners are still tight. You're not moving anywhere. If you're still carrying, if you're holding on to that lust within the heart, all this chanting is simply some sound creation. Buzz, 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 buzz. It'll have no meaning. Krishna is not hearing. Because you are not trying. Krishna is giving you his hand, but you're not taking it. When you pray to Krishna to purify you, when you serve him sincerely, what is Hare Krishna? Oh, energy of the Lord. Oh, Lord, please engage me in your service. Srila Prabhupada gives this simple translation. Please engage me in your service. But Krishna will reply, he'll say, my dear child, how will I engage you? You are engaged in the service of Maya. That is the real problem. Therefore, all the Vedic knowledge is not going to help if we remain bound to our attachments, if we don't try to fight them, if we don't try to give them up. Therefore, all the posturing and all the, wearing of fine dresses, traveling here and there, giving fine lectures have no meaning. If I am just attached to my own ego, like just last week, Keshavan Prabhu was giving this lecture, he was explaining the same thing. He said, what is your motivation? Krishna is looking at that. You are sitting on the Vyasasana and you are speaking Bhagavatam. Why are you speaking? Do you want to show off your knowledge? You want to show off your diction, pronunciation? You want to show off how powerful you are, how knowledgeable you are? You want people's appreciation? You want to become a powerful man, a leader of these men? Or you are just doing this as a service to the acharyas? That is sadhana. Sadhana is not getting up at 4 o'clock, taking cold water shower and chanting. That's a physical activity. Krishna doesn't care for that. Gaur Mohan De, father of Srila Prabhupada, he used to wake up very late. Prabhupada writes, he used to wake up late. So he used to wake up late, but his only objective was to become a pure devotee and make his son a pure devotee. So Prabhupada says, oh, he was a pure devotee. So you see, otherwise Gaur Mohan De did not write any commentaries on Shastras. He did not give any magnificent lectures. I mean, he looked like a mundane householder, but he was seeking Krishna so desperately. So you get the point. So what is our real motivation? That is real sadhana. Getting up early, taking shower, chanting, doing Mangal Arati, these are physical activities. Real sadhana is fighting our false ego, which is very, very, very hard. Hare Krishna. Yes. Any questions or comments? So next one here. Oh. What are some key triggers or questions that can help us land on finding these core attachments? Well, it's simple, start thinking. Make a list of all the things you like in your life. Write them down and see. What is the real motivation? If given a choice, which thing you would like to hold back?
Yes, that's a good
There will be
question.
many attachments. Your bicycle, your car, your house, your shirt, your pants, your shoes. There are many attachments. But there will be some very core attachments without which you cannot live. That's holding you back. I had a very good laptop when I was working. And I had a very good phone also when I was working. But on the day when my father passed away, I was in the hospital. I had gone there exactly at 11 p.m. in the night. And whole night I was just lying there. And when the doctor called me and he said, okay, your father is now going to leave this body, it came as a shock to me. At that time, my bag with my costly laptop, mobile, everything was just lying in the open waiting room of the hospital. People were just coming and going. And I wasn't the only one. People's expensive iPhones and everything, they were just lying in open because that was like that emergency ward where people were just kind of leaving their bodies. Nobody cared for these things. Now, under ordinary circumstances, I may miss, oh, my phone, where's my phone? But at that time, the priorities were different. Yeah. So we understand what is the real priority in our life. It's not Krishna, by the way, at the moment. It's not Krishna.
Yes.
At that time, when my father was dying, his blood pressure was down to 30 and 0, systolic and diastolic. At that time, like, he was gone, actually. It was just the machine which was pumping up. But the doctor said, there is still some chance. At that time, I was not thinking, na jayate amriyate va kadachin, nayam bhutva bhavita vana bhuya, or, all these things, they were not there in my mind. So I know that at that time, Krishna was not my priority. You see, sometimes Krishna gives you very harsh tests. Yes. But that is all for our benefit. The father sometimes slaps the child. And it may seem terrible, but it's for our own benefit. I will not realize this now, maybe not even in this lifetime. Maybe in some future lifetime, I will learn this lesson. So you see, Bhagavad Gita is all around us. Everywhere. Just open your eyes in the morning and you are seeing Bhagavad Gita. You just have to consciously think of it. You see, you hear the story of Pingala the prostitute or Avanti Brahman. What are those stories? They were not sitting down and studying the Shastras, but they got their realizations simply by studying the nature around them and by actively thinking. That's bhakti. When Krishna says, intelligence, Bhakta has to be very intelligent.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Those are very good realizations you shared.
Yeah. So you see, when time comes, Krishna will reveal everything, but you have to be aware. Krishna is revealing every moment.
Very true. Prabhuji, one more question I have. I can ask. So in the verse, in the verse 9, Prabhupada is saying, may there be good fortune throughout the universe and may all envious persons be pacified. Jab Prahlad Maharaj Ji is praying. So here, why the word envious is so much under light? He could have said, may all the dual persons can be pacified. May all the liars can be pacified. May all the ignorant people can be. Why envious? Like, why particularly stress on envious?
Because envy is the very emotion that brings us to this world. We are envious of Krishna. That brings us to this world. It's very subtle. This envy is not like big envy. We don't want to throw stones at Krishna.
But we want to enjoy.
Yeah, we want to enjoy what belongs to him. Like, think of it, Prabhupada's statements are sometimes very profound, but they appear very light. Like, at one time, Srila Prabhupada was advising brahmacharis in America. And he said that, when you see girls, you should think, oh, these beautiful girls are gopis and they are for Krishna's enjoyment. Now, naturally, when a young man sees a beautiful girl, he is attracted. He's very much attracted. That's the nature. That's the law of nature. So, with this very simple statement, Srila Prabhupada was revealing such a profound truth that I am desiring to enjoy what belongs to Krishna. You're getting the point? So long as I'm getting attracted to young girls, beautiful young girls, I am desiring to enjoy what belongs to Krishna. That means I am envious. That is envy. So whatever, even if you want to enjoy a tiny marble or something, this kanchi goti, if you desire to enjoy even that is also envy of Krishna, because that belongs to Krishna. So if you want to question, what is envy? Really, if, you may think, I am such a sober person. How can I be envious? Now, imagine if Krishna just appears and he says, Prabhu, can you please give your laptop to me? Can you please give me your mobile phone? Am I willing to do that? Maharaj Ranti Dev, he gave away everything. So, are we willing to do that? That means we are still envious. We don't want to share our life with Krishna. So, therefore, he's saying, let all envious people be pacified. So when this envy becomes too gross, then one becomes a demon. See, look at this statement. He is without possessions. Why that specific term is used here?
Yes. It's all linked. And that's true.
Manasa deha geha jo kichu mora arpilu tuya pade nanda kishora. That's Bhaktivinoda Thakur saying. Are we willing to do that? If Krishna comes and says, yes, thank you, you offered it to me, now I'll take it. Are we willing to do that?
True.
So you see, we still have envy in our hearts. Because we know, at least theoretically, we know that it belongs to Krishna, isn't it? If everything belongs to Krishna, why don't we give it to him? So think like this, and bhakti will become very simple at least. It may not become easy, but it will at least become simple.
Thank you, Ji. Thank you so much, Prabhuji.
Hare
Krishna, Ji.
Hare Krishna. Yes, Archana Mataji, you had a question also.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Prabhuji, that what you are saying, we should try to find out what is our core attachment. Like, I have two thoughts on that. One thing is, if I just sit to think about it, I feel that this keeps on changing with time. And secondly, from what your realization is, I feel that only when you are put in such a emotionally trying circumstance, maybe that time only you are able to find out. If you just plan to sit one day and try to find out, it might be difficult to actually find it out. But when you are put in such a circumstance where, you can't think of anything and nothing, and it just comes to you, okay, oh, this is where my attachment lies.
But there's a danger here. There's a big danger here. Why? So many times I have said that, learn from my experience and don't try to experience yourself. There's a reason for that. Now imagine when my father was passing away, suppose, the hospital wall collapsed and it fell on me, or I suffered a cardiac arrest. That was a great shock. And I was like also 40 at that time, not that I was some child or something. If I would have suffered a cardiac arrest, what would be my core thought? My father, nothing else.
But
So,
that again, that is a circumstance which is a very, an extreme thing. Now, what I'm trying to say, Prabhuji, is you are saying now you sit and try and think. But when you think, now that doesn't come. Or even if you think, now you feel that attachment has been changing over, period of time. What was there 25 years back, now you feel that is not there. But maybe the actual core attachment was there that time only. But to discover that, you have to be in that circumstance, I feel like. So it's never revealed. You never come to know.
I mean, Krishna may reveal it out of his mercy, but try to analyze. Okay, right now you think, okay, maybe as a child your core attachment was your father. Now your core attachment is your then your husband became core attachment. Now your son. It's all right, because these are material objects. They will keep changing. Like as a child, like a little boy, he may like his mother first. Then his core attachment becomes his car. Then maybe his girlfriend. It will change. But it's just a material object, always. So analyze it and then think, how dangerous it is. You are literally caressing a snake. And that snake will one day bite you. Because it's like a snake-like memory. What does a snake do? If you caress a snake, the snake will bite you. The venom will go inside and you will suffer death. So this material object, it will also bite you at the time of death and you will suffer spiritual death. If you die thinking of your son or your husband, what will be your destination? God knows. So likewise, if you pet a snake and the snake bites, what will happen? God knows. You're getting the point? So understand how dangerous that attachment is. It doesn't matter what that attachment is. Understand how dangerous that is and try to replace that with Krishna consciousness. So I'll give you one example. There is one devotee, I think it's the story of Mukunda Datta, or I don't remember which devotee it was. So during the Shat Prahariya Leela of Lord Chaitanya, so at that time when Lord is revealing his forms to his devotees, so this devotee comes in front of Lord Chaitanya. This story actually comes in Srimad Chaitanya Bhagavat, not in Chaitanya Charitamrita. This description. So there that devotee, so Mahaprabhu is explaining, he says that many years ago, the Yavanas invaded your village. The Muslims invaded your village. At that time, you were trying to escape with your family and you reached the banks of Ganga and it was night time. You did not know what to do because the Yavanas were chasing you and you had no way. So you saw a boat and then you said, "Oh dear boatman, I will give everything to you. Please save my life and the honor of my family." And then the boatman came and took you to the other side of Ganges. Actually, that boatman was me. So you already surrendered your life to me. So, yes, now imagine you have your attachment, your family, your wealth, and it is being taken away. Whose shelter will you take at that time? So that shelter should be Krishna. So think of it that way. Try to make Krishna that very core of your life. Then you will be safe. That's why, I tell devotees, don't run here and there. Try to sit and meditate. When you are sitting in holy places, the vibrations are very pure. Like your mind is very silent. So then you can see yourself. So at that time, don't spoil the mood by just running here and there. Like I've been to Vrindavan, Mayapur's yatras, I have seen devotees are running like monkeys, oh, this bus, this auto, this taxi, this and that, and fighting with each other, this and that. No, that's nonsense. That's complete nonsense. You go to a holy place, find one spot, just sit down there. Don't bother about eating or even, wearing too many clothes or anything. Just sit down and meditate and meditate and meditate. Think and think. That is the glory of holy place. Because the place is holy, it will reveal the truth to you. Because Krishna is there. He's waiting. So you have come to meet him. What are you doing? You're just running around his house looking at different rooms. You're not talking to him.
So quite a silly thing, but can you give an example of what one thing you would meditate on when you go to a holy place? A practical.
Practically, well, there are so many things, but practically one thing you can meditate on is how contaminated am I? Because that's like the door block. That is holding me back. What is my contamination really? What is really my contamination? Lord, please reveal that to me. I mean, I can ask, oh Krishna, reveal your glories. I want to see Lalita, Vishakha, and all that. No, that is complete, that will not work. What I really want to know is what is holding me back. My Lord, what is my contamination? Please reveal it to me. Please help me purify it.
Okay.
Krishna, Krishna, Raksha Mam, Krishna, Krishna, Pahi Mam. No, Lord, please let me take your shelter. I'm not able to do it. I'm not taking your shelter.
So with this thought in mind, you chant and you beg for the Lord to reveal that.
Yeah, think of it logically. Without this prayer, what is the use of any other prayer? Everything is just a contamination, isn't it? Now, I may say, oh Lord, please reveal your beautiful form. He will reveal his beautiful form. He will come and stand in front of me. What will I think? I'll say, okay, Krishna, thank you. Nice meeting you. Now I'll go back to my wife. She's cooking some roti for me. You remember that story that it comes in Vishnu Puran, that this old woman was walking in the forest with a bundle of sticks.
Sticks on her head, yeah.
Yeah, that is very profound. That is exactly us. Because we are contaminated. If Krishna comes in front of, Prabhupada used to say, if Krishna comes in front of you, what are you going to ask him? What are you going to tell him? See, if Krishna is like suddenly manifests, out of some miracle, he manifests in front of us, we will still be the way we are right now.
This reminds me of Tukaram's wife, who was also asked to accompany him to Vaikuntha, and she did not do that because she felt her material responsibilities are still remaining.
That is exactly us. I mean, we may laugh at her, but that's what we are also. So you see, it's a long way for us. That's why we must follow what Srila Prabhupada is giving. It means a lot of thinking. Prabhupada has given us the guidelines. Now we have to think, and think.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Thank you so much.
Hare Krishna. Okay, so we stop here today. We'll continue on Monday. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna, Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Jai.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Nice
Hare Krishna.
discussion.
Danda pranam.
Danda pranam.
Hare Krishna.